So Macron appears to have his bankster hands in the reconstruction of Notre Dame, along with the donors that, of course, are deeply connected to him. Macron says Notre Dame should be rebuilt consistent with the modern, diverse France, and architects suggest a glass roof, steel spire, and minaret. Macron's initial promise to restore the magnificent cathedral to its former glory have been shoved aside. Now he says it will be rebuilt consistent with our modern, diverse nation. And at the same time, the French government have announced an international competition to redesign the Notre Dame spire. Now, we also read stories recently about the game Assassin's Creed possibly contributing to the reconstruction of Notre Dame because of the Maya-built 3D renderings that were to scale, that were very deeply detailed of Notre Dame. But it appears that Macron has his bankster hands mixed in with the donors, the bankster donors, most of whom actually, that we're going to show you next, in this modern, postmodern, diverse reconstruction that is going to come about for Notre Dame, sadly. After the announcement, redesigners haven't missed the opportunity to respond with their ideas, proposing that it should not be faithfully restored, but be built with contemporary features such as a glass roof, steel spire, or even a minaret. The Telegraph published an article claiming it would be a travesty to restore Notre Dame, while Rolling Stone quoted a Harvard architecture historian as saying that the burning of a building so overburdened with meaning feels like an act of liberation. Now, that reminds me a lot of what the very prominent rabbi recently said, that the burning of Notre Dame was payback for the burning of the Talmud in the 13th century, I believe it was. But moving on, talking about a minaret, why not just also add bidets outside of Notre Dame so that the homeless migrants can have a good washing while they're looking up at the glass roof and the minaret? Lord Northam Foster, arguably Britain's most famous modern architect, has unveiled a design topping the ancient cathedral with a glass and steel canopy with a featureless glass and steel spire, which he describes as a work of art about light, which would be contemporary and very spiritual and capture the confident spirit of the time. Ian Ritchie, a modern architect most famous for the so-called Spire of Dublin, a metal spike erected in the Irish capital, is mulling a proposal along similar lines, which he describes as a refracting, super slender, reflecting crystal to heaven, or a beautiful contemporary tracery of glass crystals and stainless steel, i.e. a featureless glass and steel spire. So there you go, lots of different plans for Notre Dame. I wonder if it's going to look anything like the recent plans for the 500 square meter mural that we saw recently painted under the Eiffel Tower. So here we are at Vice News. Here it is, the first ever mural painted beneath the Eiffel Tower. The 500 square meter endless sleep painting sits directly underneath the iconic landmark. So you have this huge, giant, multicultural, pro-diverse mural painted underneath the Eiffel Tower to reflect the modern, diverse France, as Macron would call it. And France is in a lot of trouble, I must tell you that. So here we go. This is the endless sleep floor painting, and it talks about it here. You can see some of these pictures, and I covered this on my second channel a couple of days ago. If you want to subscribe to the second channel over there, link is in the description of every single video here, automatically in the description, so I won't forget, by the way. And I cover an additional 5 or 6 topics every single day on that second channel. It says the structure of the mural is simple. At its center, 2 individuals are locked in a kissing embrace. Around them are 2 circles of dancing nymphs dressed in skirts, one black, one white. They hold hands and their limbs interlock with the others like a zipper. So here you go. You can see, if we scroll up to the overhead view of this, these are the 2 people kissing in the center of the mural. So I wonder if the minarets and the bidets of the new Notre Dame reconstruction are going to have this, and I think that this will probably be in one of the stained glass windows. This design will probably be on the stained glass windows within Notre Dame. Who knows? But I wouldn't put anything past them. But as far as the fundraising goes for Notre Dame, now we have France's 3 richest families leading the $700 million fundraising effort for Notre Dame. The Yellow Vests are entirely mad about these billionaires donating to Notre Dame, and of course, getting the wealth tax reduction for them, while the modern working day tax is being increased with the Paris Climate Accord and all the rest. And of course, this is what the France is mainly concerned about, the tax increase, the gas tax increase for the modern white working class that live in the rural areas, most of whom didn't vote for Macron, by the way. If you look at the maps, you can see that the rural areas mostly voted for the nationalist candidate there in the last election. France's 3 wealthiest families are coming to the rescue of a national icon, spearheading a fundraising drive to rebuild Notre Dame that has topped $700 million. I believe it's already surpassed about $1 billion. And it talks about the 3 richest families. Now, the forward has this particular piece here. A French Jewish billionaire family is leading fundraising to rebuild Notre Dame. The question that I have is, why would a Jewish family be leading the fundraising to rebuild Notre Dame? This doesn't make any sense to me. Notre Dame is a Catholic cathedral. We recently saw the rabbi who said that the burning of Notre Dame was payback for the burning of the Talmud. We all know what the Talmud says about Jesus Christ and the book that Judaism puts above the Torah. The Talmud. We all know what the quotes are about Jesus Christ in that particular book. So why would a French Jewish billionaire family be leading the fundraising to rebuild Notre Dame? You have to wonder, is something going to be done to Notre Dame? Which, by the way, people are coming out and saying that some Jews have actually lost more in the burning of Notre Dame. But that's besides the point. I digress. Will there be something done to the Notre Dame Cathedral reconstruction that defaces it, essentially? That defaces the significance of Notre Dame for Christians? You have to wonder. The family behind L'Oreal, the Betancourt Myers, have matched a pledge made by a luxury conglomerate, LVMH, to donate 200 million euros, $226 million, to the effort to rebuild the fire-damaged building. Francois Betancourt Myers, who, with their family, holds majority shares, also has a Jewish identity, so Jewish by race. Very interesting, very interesting. The Catholic cathedral held significance as a French monument and holds special the complex significance for Jews. I'm really not sure how, unless it's to deface a Catholic symbol, unless it's to deface a Catholic symbol. We recently saw, and I covered this on my second channel as well, this Polish Catholic ritual being demanded to be banned by the WJC, the World Jewish Congress, because it was quote-unquote anti-Semitic, because it depicted an effigy of Judas, the person who turned Jesus into the rabbinical dictatorship for 30 pieces of silver. It depicted an effigy of Judas being beaten with sticks, and this happens every year. It's a ritual, and the WJC come out and said that it has to be banned because it's an anti-Semitic ritual. So what? And they're Catholic there. So, I just don't understand the connection here. I really don't understand the connection here. But that remains to be seen. Let me know what you think about in the comments. And it seems like Notre Dame is headed on the wrong path. Videos are posted every single day here about breaking news topics, so make sure you hit the bell button if you haven't already so that you are notified. Check the description for links to Patreon and PayPal, and of course follow me on Gab, Minds, BitChute, and Instagram. Links in the description as well. And of course these videos only go so far, so be sure to share with family and friends.